Imagine a place where children once laughed, where trains arrived every morning, where minds echoed with life and saloons burst with music. Now, there's only silence, streets covered with dust, homes frozen in time. Clocks stopped because time itself seems to have abandoned this place. Across America, entire cities have vanished not by war, not by some epic disaster, but because life simply packed up and left. This is the story of America's forgotten ghost towns, and the secrets they buried underneath the sand. Once, America was a landscape of dreams, wide horizons, endless land, and a promise whispered on the wind. If you work hard enough, you can build a life here. And people followed that whisper: families, miners, adventurers, opportunists. They built towns from nothing, using wood, brick, sweat, and hope. Thousands of lives were woven into the fabric of small cities that rose like flames, and then disappeared like smoke. Our story begins in the mid-1800s. During the gold rush, men traveled west with little more than a shovel, a horse, and a dream of striking it rich. When gold was found, a town would spring up almost overnight. Bars opened. Schools began. Newspapers started printing. A future looked not just possible, but certain. But when the gold ran out, the towns died. One by one, places like Bodie, California, became mere whispers on a map. Once home to nearly 10,000 people, now only the wind speaks through its empty windows. If you visit today, you'll see shoes still sitting beneath beds, and cups remaining on shelves, as if life just paused for a moment, waiting for someone to return. But ghost towns weren't only created by the hunt for gold. Some fell to disease. In one town, deep in the mountains, residents once heard a bell ringing every single morning. But when a sickness spread through the community, bodies fell faster than prayers could rise. People fled in silence, leaving everything behind. Today, that town is a graveyard wrapped in wood. Others fell because technology changed. Railroads shifted their routes, leaving once thriving towns completely disconnected from the world. New highways were built, and with them life moved to... Take Cairo, Illinois, for example. It's a town situated where two great rivers meet, once called the Gateway to the South. Its streets were alive with jazz music, riverboats, and booming stores. Today, its buildings stand hollow. Trees grow through broken windows. A playground swing moves gently in the breeze, but no child ever runs to it. Then there are the towns that were swallowed by nature itself. In Centralia, Pennsylvania, a fire began deep underground in a coal mine. The earth cracked open, and smoke rose from the ground like the breath of a sleeping dragon. Residents were told to leave, and most of them never returned. That fire, believe it or not, still burns today, more than 60 years later. Imagine knowing that your childhood home sits above a fire that will continue burning for longer than you will ever live. Ghost towns also hold darker stories America rarely speaks about. There are towns that disappeared because people were chased away. One Such town, now nothing but an empty field, was once filled with black families trying to build a peaceful life after the Civil War. They created homes, schools, and a future for themselves. But hatred arrived with guns and fire. History books never wrote their names, because silence buried them. Some ghost towns weren't just abandoned, they were deliberately erased. Buried beneath lakes, flooded by dams, drowned by progress. In California, entire communities are now underwater churches, homes, graveyards all, sleeping beneath the blue waves. On Cayetes, fishermen say you can still see the rooftops shimmering far below the surface. But perhaps the most haunting ghost towns are the ones that were built and never used. In the deserts of Nevada, there are structures that stand perfectly intact. You'll find street signs, houses, and fully built stores, yet not a single person lives there. These were fake towns, created for soldiers to practice war simulations. Fake lives, but real bullets. So, we have to ask ourselves, why do we feel something when looking at these empty places? Maybe ghost towns remind us that life is temporary, that everything we build, everything we love, can eventually fade away. Or maybe, just maybe, something inside those towns still lives on memories, stories, the echoes of footsteps that once walked those very streets. If you walk through Bodie at sunset, you might hear what some visitors swear they've heard. A piano playing softly. No one knows where the sound comes from. No house in the town contains one. But sound travels through time in strange ways. In another ghost town, a curtain sometimes moves, even when all the windows are sealed shut. Is it just the wind, or does history simply refuse to stay silent? Ghost towns give us one final, powerful lesson. A place isn't alive because buildings stand. It's alive because people breathe inside it. America is full of these abandoned skeletons of the past waiting, sleeping, and whispering their stories through the dust. So the next time you're driving down a forgotten road and you see a sign for a town you've never heard of, a roosted gate, a broken down gas station, stop for a moment. Stand still and listen, because even in the silence, history speaks. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, consider subscribing for more journeys into the forgotten corners of our world.